Hey there guys, it's Karen Haley, the digestive coach for moms, and it is Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and you know what that means? It means it's time for another Gut Love Live session. I'm so excited to be here with you, and I know I mentioned this last week, but I just wanted to mention it one more time that I'm moving the Gut Love Live sessions to a little bit later in the day. Same day, but since summer is upon us, and I know that that means that the days are going to get longer and the kids are out of school. And so you might be needing that mom downtime that only comes at nighttime after the kids are in bed. So that's why I moved the Gut Love Live sessions a little bit later in the day to 9 p.m. Eastern time so that you could take that time, at least on Thursday, you could take that time to just unwind with me, maybe have a cup of tea. I've got my tea today. Maybe have a cup of tea. If you can, if you have time to relax, you can have a glass of wine, but join me for a Gut Love session. So during the summer months, it's gonna be 9 o'clock, just like tonight. All right, so what are we talking about today? Today, I'm excited because we get to finish our three-part series. Our three-part series that's all about the 7 must-do steps if you want to heal your gut struggles naturally, and you want to be able to start today. So I know there's lots of you that are ready to try really crazy lifestyle changes and crazy eating plans like the specific carbohydrate diet. And when I say crazy, I mean crazy good, right? So the specific carbohydrate diet, the GAPS diet, paleo, things like that. And those are really big leaps. But if you just started thinking about how could I possibly heal naturally? What are those first steps I could take? Maybe I'm not ready for such a big leap like a program or an eating plan like that, but I know that I do want to heal naturally, and I just want to take some small steps where I can actually see a difference, where I can see a change, where I can see that it's starting to heal my gut. That's what these 7 steps are all about. Nothing complicated. All you need is you. All you need is you and this knowledge, and you can get started right away. You could get started today. So that's what I want. That's what I wanted for these. And this has actually been a 3-part series. Don't worry, if you didn't see the part 1 and the part 2, it's okay because this is really a standalone episode. So if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, you're definitely gonna wanna go back and check it out later because it's gonna give you even more tips to help you start to take those baby steps to start healing your gut naturally from things like Crohn's and colitis and chronic diarrhea and chronic constipation. So if you're ready, if you've been dealing with that and you know it's affecting the mom that you know that you want to be, then definitely go back and watch those videos. But that's okay if you haven't watched those yet because this is really a standalone. You're gonna get 3 tips today. So just as a quick refresher, in the last 2 episodes, the last 2 Gut Love Live sessions, we talked about the first 4 steps, the first 4 tips in starting to heal your gut struggles. So tonight, we're going to talk about step 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to bring this baby home. We're going to wrap up this series tonight. Does that sound good? Okay, I'm just going to refresh my computer real quick. I want to make sure that I can see that I'm live and make sure that all systems are go. Hold on one second. Let's see. Ah, yes, we're good. Okay, so we're live. Things are looking good from my end. If you're joining live, say hi. I would love it to be able to connect with you and reach out and for you to say hi. And if you're watching this in the replay and you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to post it in the comments because I always go back and look at the comments and give comments after, even in the replay. So feel free to leave comments whether you're watching this live or it's Memorex, right? Live or replay. Okay, so let's get started with our 3 tips to help move beyond medicine, to help you take those first couple steps when you want to heal naturally. Remember, the first 4 steps were given in part 1 and part 2 of this series, but these are those last 3 steps to help get you started. So, tip number 5. Here we go with tip number 5. And tip number 5 is say thanks. Oh, and you know what? While I'm saying that, it sounds so simple that I really have to back up for a second and tell you that, and I've said this in the previous videos too, this is not rocket science, club. This is not rocket science. These are things that you've probably heard before. These are things that you know about, but chances are you're not doing. And why aren't you doing them? Because here's the thing that we did talk about we talked about this in the first video about how you actually form a habit, a new habit. When you want to make a change, how you actually do that. So here's the deal. Knowledge and willpower alone is not enough to help you change a habit. If it was, guess what? Everybody would be changing their habits. Everybody would be able to do this. And that's why it's not about knowledge. And in the first video, I urge you to go back and watch part 1 because I talk about how you actually, with that knowledge, with that willpower, how do you actually change a habit? How do you form a new habit? How do you adopt some of these tips that we're talking about? These all-important gut healing tips. But let me just give you the Cliff Notes version here. So when you want to adopt a new habit, for example, the first one we talked about, the first gut healing tip we talked about was called let the fluid flow. And if you watched it, you remember me talking about how it doesn't just have to be water. There's actually a lot of other things that we can drink throughout the day that can help our gut heal. But if we want to change that habit, it's not just about saying to ourselves, okay, I'm going to drink more fluid throughout the day. Because it's that knowledge, right? That knowledge is actually just not enough to make the habit change. What we have to do instead is pair it with an already existing habit, which means something that you already do. When you can pair something that you already do with something new, then we can make change. Then we can start with these tips. These tips can start working for us. So let's say you want to drink more water, right? We're going to start slow. We're going to do it like a mom, and we're going to start slow. So maybe we're just going to add 1 glass of water a day. Well, where can we add that in? Because just saying, all right, I'm going to do it, it never works. Where can we add that in? Well, let's think about things we already do. We already get up in the morning. We already drive the carpool or go to work. We already get in the car to go somewhere every day. If you're a mom, I know you do. I know you get in the car and you go somewhere every day. So it's about finding the way to pair that drinking of the water with something we already do. So let's say it's getting out of bed in the morning. So we're going to put that water right by our bed, and then we're going to know every time we get up in the morning, we're going to drink that glass of water. It's our cue to drink the glass of water. So that's what it's all about. So that's what I say when I say this is not rocket science. None of these tips that I'm giving you are rocket science. They're not things you haven't heard. But the cool thing that I'm going to give you is the how. So you know the what. And so when I say that tip number 5 is say thank you, it's about having gratitude. And you've probably heard this before. But how much are you actually doing it in your day? Well, first of all, let me just tell you that you might think it's something small, but this is actually huge. Finding ways to be grateful for the small things in your life. I'm not talking about huge things here. I'm talking about the sun shining, the 5 extra minutes you got to sleep in the morning, whatever it is. I'm talking really small things. There is actually an outstanding bit of evidence. There's all kinds of research that shows it will affect our health. Because when we feel good, it releases those powerful endorphins, the chemicals, the feel-good chemicals, the feel-good hormones, right? And when we feel good, it will help us physically as well. So before I even tell you the how to do this, I got to tell you that even though you're thinking, well, that's kind of a small thing to do, actually, It's huge, and it can have a big impact on your physical health, i.e. meaning your gut. It can have a huge impact on your gut. So how are we going to do this? Well, I know, as a mom, I know because I'm so guilty of this too. We're constantly saying to our children, did you say thank you when so-and-so dropped you off? Did you say thank you when they gave you a birthday present? Did you say thank you when somebody opened the door for you? Did you send a thank you note, right? We're constantly bombarding our kids with how to have thanks, how to have gratitude in their life. But what about us? What are we doing for us? How are we feeling the gratitude in our own lives? That's what it's about. It's about finding those small ways. This tip, it's about just finding those small ways that we can find gratitude and happiness and thankfulness in our life. So we have to kind of practice what we preach. We got to think about what we're saying to our kids, and we have to just go from there. So how can we do this tip like a mom? If you watched the videos before, you know that I always talk about, when I talk about the tip, I always say, how can you do it like a mom? And that just means that with the crazy, chaotic mom life that I know we all lead, with the multitasking that we constantly do, how can you add this in? How can you add this one more thing? So when I say do it like a mom, you know what I'm talking about. So how can you do this like a mom? The way that you can bring this tip and bring it to life for yourself is by involving your family. Because I know that when you involve your kids, you're gonna be more invested in this. Let me give you some examples. So some ways that we do it in our house are to have a gratitude board in the kitchen. And I like to put this right on the refrigerator because this is how I'm now pairing two habits, a new one and an old one. So the old habit that I know we all do, in fact, we probably do it at least 10 times just in the morning, is we open the refrigerator door, right? So we're gonna pair that old habit with a new habit, the habit of putting up this gratitude board right on your refrigerator. And I want you to make sure you have the pen attached so that it's right there for you to use in the morning when you open the refrigerator. You're gonna just write something that you're grateful for on there. Remember I talked about I got to sleep in 5 more minutes today? Yeah, I would definitely put that on my gratitude board. You want to write that down. And the way that you involve your family is how you encourage them to do it too. When they're opening the refrigerator, hey, why don't you write something down that you're grateful for? And when you see the things, it's kind of amazing that these kids who you're kind of being the referee for all day long, and you're dealing with the misbehavior of all day long, right? Even though you're dealing with those things, the things that they'll write down that they're grateful for, it's actually kind of amazing. It's going to make you appreciate your kids even more. So it's a win for you, and it's a win for your kids. So how else can you do this? If maybe that doesn't really fit into your life, how about when you sit down at the dinner table? Now, if you're anything like my family, I know that I wouldn't say it's rare that we all have dinner together, but it doesn't happen every night, right? You're running in a million directions. Kids have after-school activities and evening activities when they get older, and they're not always there. But I gotta tell you, when my whole family is there, I would say probably in my house that happens maybe 2-3 times a week. When everybody's there, it's time for some gratitude. It's time to go around the table just when we start eating to talk about something that happened to you, just something small that happened to you that you were grateful for. Now, here's your time to feel the gratitude and feel it even more because you're going to see what your family is grateful for. And again, I'm amazed at some of the things that my kids come up with, and I know that you will be too. Okay, let me just give you one more tip for this one more example, because this is one I know you can do. It's really easy, and it has to do with your phone and texting. We're always close to our phones, right? We're always close to our phones, and we're constantly texting on them. How about sending a text of gratitude? You're gonna pay it forward and send it to a loved one. Send it to a friend. When you show gratitude for somebody else, it just makes you feel good, doesn't it? So you're gonna text your friend Jen, oh, I really appreciated that coffee that we had the other day. I really enjoyed spending time with you. Thanks for taking the time out to do that. You're a great friend, thanks. You know, something like that. How about, hey, Stephanie, I loved that purple shirt that you wore today. It's such a great color on you. Just out of the blue, just an out of the blue thank you for a friend. And when you do that, I know you're going to feel better about yourself. It's going to release those endorphins, and it's actually going to affect your gut. So, gratitude, yes, gratitude can help heal your gut. You better believe it. Okay, so that was tip number 5. Let's move on and talk about tip number 6. And tip number 6 in the 7 steps to help you move beyond medicine and start healing naturally today, that 6th step is mindset matters. It's your mind, that can-do attitude, that can I do this, that really matters. If you go into these tips and you think, well, I don't know if any of these are going to work, but I guess I'll give it a try. Karen said they'd work. I'll try it. Do you think any of them are going to work? We have to believe it. We have to really feel like these things are going to make a difference in our life. Anything that we try, whether it's these tips or it's something your doctor tells you or it's something you read, whatever it is, we have to believe in it. But if we want to do this like a mom, we have to even go a step further. Because here's what I want you to do. I want you to really open your imagination and kind of use a little visualization here, a little imagery here. I want you to think about, what will it feel like when I don't have to use the bathroom so many times in a day? What will that even look like to me? Even like, go ahead and just picture yourself there. Picture yourself in that moment where you're leaving, you're going out the door in the morning, and you don't have to sit on the toilet. And you can't remember the last time that happened, right? How will that feel in your life? How about your daughter or your son saying to you, Mom, can you come to my soccer game? Can you come to my dance recital? Can you come to the big whatever, the big practice, the big game, whatever it is for your child? And you're saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't because I'm just too tired. When we have gut struggles, how often does that happen? Now, let's change this up. Picture yourself saying yes because you have the energy. How will that feel? I want you to really, in this whole tip, this mindset matters tip, this matters. I want you to think about those moments in your life that are really important to you, those things that are truly taken away because of your gut issues. And I want you to really go there. I want you to really think about, what will it feel like? What will it feel like when I don't have to be in that place anymore? What will it feel like when I go to the doctors and I finally get good news, right? Think about all those things that are really bringing you down and really making you sad about having gut struggles. Then I want you to think the opposite. I want you to really feel it, visualize it, because this is that first step. This is that knowledge and the willpower. And even though I said you cannot change a habit with that alone, you do have to start there. Does that make sense? Let me know if you have any questions or comments about that when you're watching this in the replay, because if you do, I definitely want to hear it. But we really have to go there and really feel it, really put ourselves there, and really make that mindset count if we really want to see change, if we really want to heal from our gut struggles. Okay, we've made it. We've made it to tip number 7. Tip number 7. We've made it all the way to tip number 7. And tip number 7 in the 7 must-do steps if you want to heal your gut is jump on the gluten freedom train. Jump on the gluten freedom train. Now, if you know me, if you spent any time with me at all, you know that I do not believe in the one-size-fits-all diet approach. If I were to line up 10 moms and they all had Crohn's disease, there would be a different program for each of them that worked, because we're all different, we're all unique. And I believe that wholeheartedly, and it comes true, it comes to life every time I work with a new client. You might think, hey, that person seems a lot like the other client I had. But no, there are no two people that are exactly the same, and there is no one eating plan. Except, I gotta give you my one exception, except when it comes to gluten. Now, hear me out here, because I know I can hear you saying, I don't have a problem with gluten, but hear me out. I really want you to hear me out on this one. I have never seen anybody with gut issues that didn't struggle in one way or another with gluten. And you might be saying, but I don't have the tummy bloat, and I don't have the gas, and I don't have the diarrhea after I eat gluten. Well, here's the thing about gluten sensitivity. It can show up in your gut, yes, but it also shows up in many other places. It shows up on your skin. It shows up like acne, eczema, skin patches, and rashes. So it does show up on your skin, even though you're not having gut issues from it. It shows up in your brain. It shows up as brain fog, poor concentration, ADHD, anxiety, depression. Your gluten sensitivity can show up in those ways. Your gluten sensitivity can even show up in your behavior. Your sensitivity to gluten can make you irritable. It can make you anxious. It can make you moody. It can make you angry. It can do all of those things. And the research on this is astounding. So when I'm talking about the gluten sensitivity that you probably have, 99 times out of 100 that you have, you may not even realize it because you didn't know that that rash on your face is actually related to gluten. And you didn't know that that chronic brain fog that you're dealing with is actually related to gluten. So when I tell you that my one exception is that 99 times out of 100, there is a gluten problem when it comes to gut struggles. That's why I'm so passionate about telling people that I can't give you a one-size-fits-all approach, but I can tell you that gluten definitely is worth taking out and seeing what happens, because it might not be just about your gut. It might be about other things. Now, how do you do it like a mom? How do you remove that gluten, and how do you do it like a mom? Well, you're gonna do it slowly, and you're gonna pair it with something you already do. So if you're completely new to this, if you've never thought about taking gluten out of your diet, I want you to go super slow here. So maybe just take one meal. And the easiest meal to start with is breakfast. So what is it that you're eating that's gluten-y at breakfast? Remember, gluten is a protein. It's found in wheat, barley, rye, and lots of other grains. And this is definitely not a Facebook Live on gluten. I could go on forever about that. I actually even have a class on it, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. If you're new to the whole gluten-free thing, I want you to message me. I want you to leave a comment if you have questions about it. But let's just take breakfast. Remember, we're going to start really slow here. So with breakfast, what is it that you're eating? Is it your cereal? Is it a bagel? Is it some toast, right? Are you eating those things? Now remember, if you're eating eggs for breakfast, fruit, a smoothie most likely, if you're having those things for breakfast, most likely you don't have gluten in there. So you're okay with those things. But how can you change up those other things so that they don't have gluten? And when you go to the grocery store, that's going to be your reminder. That's your pairing with something you already do, and we're going to pair some gluten-free items with the grocery store. That's how we're going to change this habit. And we're just going to pick one meal. Doing it like a mom, jumping on the gluten freedom train and doing it like a mom means we start slow. Why would we have to do it all at once? There is absolutely no reason for that. None whatsoever. You don't have to do this all at once. Start slow, start with one meal, one snack, and then start building from there. So there you have it. Those are your 7 tips. 7 tips to help you, the must-do tips to help you just to start taking those baby steps so that you can start to move beyond medicine, quiet your gut struggles, and heal your gut naturally. And then what happens? I know I've said it before. You can be the mom you always dreamed you'd be. Yes, yes, yes. Love it when that happens, right? All right, so did you like this video? Did you find this series helpful for you? If you did, show me some love. Give a like to the video. And if you know a mom that also has gut struggles and you know that she would benefit, then why not share it with her? Share it with her and spread a little gut love to some deserving mom's life. If you've been with me for a while and you're getting benefit from these videos and you're getting benefit from the Facebook posts that I have and the Instagram that I have, then you gotta join us in the Gut Love community because there's even more gut love there. How do you do that? Well, you click the link. It's either right above or right below this video, depending on where you're watching this, on Facebook or on YouTube. And you can click that link and you can join us today. Now, what are you going to get in this free and fabulous group? Yeah, that's right. I said it's free. The Gut Love Community Moms is absolutely free. And it's a place where you can connect with other moms so that you can get support from people who know what it's like, people who are actually there. Moms that have Crohn's and colitis that have been dealing with chronic gut issues for a long time. Those chronic gut issues that really take you away from being the mom that you want to be. And I know that you probably have a great spouse and you have great friends that you can talk to about this, but if they don't have Crohn's, they don't have colitis, if they don't have chronic gut issues, they can't completely get it, right? And so talking with somebody that really has been there, that gets it, that's priceless. It's awesome. So you get that all in the Gut Love community. You get private master classes just for the Gut Love community of moms with experts talking about all things gut health. You get recipes tailor-made for gut issues. And best of all, you get all your burning questions answered. So what are you waiting for? If you haven't joined us in the Gut Love community, I would love it if you would. I would love to see you there. That's all that I have for you today. I loved doing this 3-part series. I think I'm going to develop some more series so that we can all just learn a little bit more about how you can take baby steps. You know, I think as a mom, sometimes it's easier to just take those baby steps towards gut health. All right, any comments that you have, any questions you have, pop them in the comments below and I am happy to answer them. Until we meet again, and that will be next week. I'm gonna say bye. My little poop guy, he's the poop superhero. I haven't named him yet, but I like to name my little poop stuffed animals, so he'll probably have a name at some point. But we're gonna wish you much gut love and much happiness always. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.